Hi, I'm Jeff Murrah. I want to welcome you to True Texas History. Today is September the 17th. That means the anniversary of the Battle of Sharpsburg. Today's presentation is going to be a little different. I'm going to be talking about the First Texas and what happened there. This is their flag, by the way. Notice, it says Seven Pines and Gaines Farm. This was a flag that they carried into battle. Now notice the star. It's a little off center as opposed to, having the point of this straight up. The reason for that is that when carrying a flag into battle, it looks goofy the other way. When it's offset a little, the flag looks correct heading on into the battlefield, and these soldiers knew that. It was very important to them. Now, this particular flag was made of silk, and there were stories that it was Mrs. Wigfall's wedding dress. The evidence for that is kind of weak. It was made of silk. Might have been some scraps from things left over. But when they've done testing on it, they have not found evidence of it being Mrs. Wigfall's wedding dress. Makes for a nice story, but doesn't necessarily line up factually. They had carried this flag into battle. Many engagements, and they loved their flag. It meant a lot to them. And the men in the First Texas, let me go ahead and point a couple things out. The Texas Brigade, when you hear mention of it, first of all, there are more than one Texas Brigade, because Cleburne's Texas Brigade and so forth. But typically when people say the Texas Brigade, it's referring to Hood's Texas Brigade, and that or Hood's Texas Division. It has the 1st Texas Brigade, the 4th, and the 5th. But the 1st Texas saw some dramatic action in the Battle of Sharpsburg. Now, heading on into the battle, the men had carried that flag, which meant a lot to them to fight for Texas. And at one point, they were told that they needed to give up their silk flag and had to accept one of these cotton varieties of flags. This was the cotton variety of the flag of the 1st Texas. For the Army of Northern Virginia. Now notice it's just the 12 stars. You do not have one in the middle. That was the variant used back then. It was made out of cotton because they couldn't find silk at the time. The Texans didn't want to carry that flag into battle, and they were reluctant to give up their Texas flag, and they went ahead and carried their Texas flag. Now, what happened in the battle? The Yankees got hold of the battle plan, so they knew where Lee's troops were stationed and some idea of what he was planning. So early in the morning of September the 17th, they launched an attack, pushed back two of the Confederate divisions, and the Texans were called into battle to fix the hole. Now, the Texans had been campaigning, they had been fighting, they were tired, they were hungry, they were just in the midst of making breakfast, but the call of duty came, and they had to go, and they had to stop their breakfast. Now, bear in mind, many of them were barefoot, their uniforms were not in great shape, and they went ahead and stormed into the cornfield there at Sharpsburg, and they went ahead and they broke through one Yankee line and rushed on ahead. They broke through a second line that had formed, and that's when they were in trouble. in their fervor and zealousness, they outran the other regiments that were to the sides of them, and they were caught on three sides by Yankee fire, which was withering and cut down all the stalks in the cornfield. They were losing men right and left, and that flag, 9 color bearers carried it and fell that day before a Yankee regiment came through the cornfield, found it lying on the ground, and took it. It was not what you would call surrendered in battle at all. It's just everybody died defending it. So it was a pretty vicious battle and quite a sacrifice that those men made that day. And they bought precious time for the Southern armies that day, but paid one heck of a price for having done so. So I wanted to go ahead and talk about the flag, point out a few things about what happened there. I hope you enjoyed it, and until next time, this is Jeff Murrah wishing you vaya con Dios, my friends. Goodbye.